Hello, viewers. Today I am here to talk to you about we all talked about the good things in life, the ups in life, and I want to share with you also my downs in life. And the worst portion of my life that I've ever faced is something that I want to talk to you about and share with you, not because of what I went through, but because of the adversity and what one faces, what a human being or a man faces in his life when the chips are down. And this was during COVID. And you know what happened in COVID, the whole world changed. And this was my time in sometime in 21, sometime when COVID hit. I was to go for my knee surgery in Bombay, which was all fixed. And then COVID happened and I couldn't go for my knee surgery because I was not allowed to travel. So I had no choice but to get my knee surgery done in Dubai. And after I got it done, my friend, Mr. Dr. Ashish Soni, a very good orthopedic surgeon, did my knee surgery in Mediclinic in Healthcare City. And it went off fine. And the next day morning, I got breathless and had a heart attack in the hospital on the next day. And I was moved immediately to emergency and the operation room, and they found a blockage in my heart, and they couldn't even fix a stent in my heart because my parameters were failing. My liver, my kidneys, my was failing. So they just had to keep me going, and they I think, put a balloon or something and said that we cannot operate on you or even put a stent in you because your condition is very bad. I went back after a few days and they said after a month or so, we will try and do something. In that time, I was recovering. In that month, I went to my doctor. I found a cardiologist, Dr. Rajiv Lochan, who has been very important for me because he saved my life not once but 4 times. And I went to him and he operated with me and put his stent in. And then after a few months, this is all during COVID. And after a few months, after 6 months or so, I think that stent failed or something and I got another heart attack. So he corrected that stent and put another stent. And then went back again after 8 months or so. This is all during COVID. I had my 3rd heart attack. And every time I went into the operation theater with my children and family around me, my son had given me a little white marble statue of Sai Baba, whom I'm a bhakt of. And I would clutch that with my hand and go inside smiling when everybody else was nervous about it. And I would go in and say, don't worry. I was very positive about everything, that whatever has to happen will happen. And I'm not worried. So, I was cheering them up instead of they cheering me up. I was cheering them up, and every time I came back was fine. And I remember after my first heart attack, when the next day after my surgery, my son was in Abu Dhabi, Nikhil. And the doctor called him up and he said that, Dad has had an heart attack. He said, but yesterday I was there for his surgery. And everything went well, so I went to Abu Dhabi. He said, no, he's had a massive heart attack, so you better get down here. He drove, I think, at 180, 200 kilometers, I don't know. That day he got about 9 or 10 speeding tickets from Abu Dhabi till the time he came there. And he didn't care for anything. He just raced the car and reached the hospital. And I got to know later that he'd got so many speeding tickets because he was so nervous about it. Anyway, that's just an incident which I want to tell you about. Sometimes when this happens, how your son cares for you and loves you, and you feel it. And the fourth heart attack which I had later on, and then I got COVID. After that, I couldn't move around, like I said. And Rengin had COVID also, and she was in one room, I was in the other room. We couldn't see each other. She went through a very bad patch. She nearly lost her life because the doctors whom she was going to told her to take Panadol two or three in a day, and she took 80 Panadols in 10 days, and she was completely shot and gone. And they wouldn't do an X-ray on her or whatever it is, MRI, whatever. And finally, we found a doctor who would do an MRI and see her. And we found that, she's in bad shape, and she recovered, and I sent her to Turkey for recovery, and she came back, and she's luckily back to normal. But at the time I had COVID, I had no energy in me. And that's the time when I had my fourth heart failure. It was not an attack, it was a heart failure. My friend Shashi and Anu were staying with me, and I couldn't breathe. And water was filling in my lungs. And I could feel that, I'm having difficulty in breathing. And I called up Dr. Lochan, and he said, immediately come to the hospital. And somehow Shashi changed my clothes with my Deepak, who was there all the time with me. And I told the driver, take out the car. And we sat in the car, and we went, Rangin, me and Deepak and the driver. But imagine this, my friends, that it's 7:30 in the morning. We went to Al Zahra Hospital on Sheikh Zayed Road. And 7:30 in the morning, there is a line of cars which is impossible to get through to the Zahra Hospital. And I was, in a matter of minutes, if I told my driver that if I don't reach there, survive, I will not be able to go through this. Because there is a school next to Al Zahra. When in the morning time, all parents come to drop their children. So my driver, Anish, who was there, was actually responsible for saving my life that day. He just reversed the car and went the opposite direction when the cars were coming. And he just zoomed past them, and the cars were going on the pavements and shouting. And he just zoomed past, and within 2 or 3 minutes, he just drove rashly back into the emergency, and they pulled me up and put me on recovery because I couldn't breathe much. Immediately, they saved me and salvaged me. And then my doctor told me this wasn't a heart attack, it was a heart failure. So having been through all these problems and in all succession of these last 2 or 3 years, whatever I had, I remained positive throughout about what has to happen will happen. I mean, when your time is up, your time is up. There's nothing you can do about it. But I used to, in the middle, always continue with my lifestyle of, I used to walk in the pool or a little bit swim in the pool. And, my eating habits were very good at that time. And in COVID, there was nothing much to do but to have all these things sorted out because we were all at home. And also, after the post of that, we did an MRI and 2D, whatever we did. And they found the murmur in my heart. And they went at 2D echo, and they said, your aortic valve, the main valve has got a murmur and it needs replacement. I thought my troubles were at an end at that time, but they weren't. So my daughter-in-law, Nupur, who used to work with the Abu Dhabi clinic, Cleveland Clinic in Abu Dhabi, they said you have to go to the US for this aortic valve because nobody does it here in Dubai. So she found out and did her homework, and she says, no, Dad, there is a doctor in Cleveland Clinic who specializes in aortic valve replacement. So we fixed up an appointment, went to Abu Dhabi, and he says, we need to do this. You're the perfect patient for it, and I will do it. So we fixed up an operation and went to Abu Dhabi and did my aortic valve replacement, which is through the groin. And they replaced the complete aortic valve in a matter of 30-35 minutes, which is amazing. It's a non-invasive thing. And the next day I could feel my rush of blood in my body going through very normally, and I was hale and hearty and fresh, and I've been there since like that. So these things in adversity which I went through, of course later on I had a little bout with cancer which I had, which luckily has now gone, it's completely gone luckily for me. But having been through all these adversities and then writing my book and coming out with it and what I'm doing now, I have remained positive right through and always not stressed or worried about what you are going through, because what has to happen will happen. And I don't believe in. I've lived my life to the full. So tomorrow, if my time's up, I would go a happy person. But what I'm trying to convey to you, my friend, I'm telling you about all this is because we all face this at some point of life. And it's time now that we start thinking that we're not immortal. We've done what we had to do. We've played our part on the stage. We've done our number of stage appearances in life. It's a game of life, and we've played our part, and it's time to go. So now we're at that stage in life where I think we need to reminisce and think and do good and be good and pass what is good in you to others and go along, because at least people will remember you by it. That, you know, what you did or what you were or what you did for people is what you remember you by, not the wealth you have or the money you have or the properties you have. It has no meaning. I realized that when I was in ICU with needles and stuff on my hands and chest for 15 days, that, you know, what is life all about? It's nothing. Everything we are fighting and jostling for business and money and properties and cars and everything, and it's all means nothing. You reach a certain stage in life, and now you need is good health. Take care of your health, which you do, and have good friends around you, have good companions, your family is there, and let the rest of your years pass by and pass them in peace and happiness. That is what I wanted to convey, my friends, to you in this podcast, and I hope that you picked up something from it. Thank you so much for listening to me.